We can talk about something called corporate ahimsa. Is that a fair term? That there is a corporate
Yeah,
ahimsa.
sure.
And what you are showing is that it's not only ahimsa principle in your personal life to minimize harming, but also in your corporate sense. And so we can say that there is also something we might call corporate karma. There is a
Yeah.
corporate karma. Now a question I have is, individual has a there is a jivatma, there is a container in which the karma is the account balance transmitted. Now, in the case of a corporate entity, since there is no jivatma per se, it's a kind of a legal, kind of a fictional entity, legal entity made up. So, when a corporate entity does karma, I've always wondered about this. When a corporate entity does karma and there's no individual who takes responsibility for it, everybody says this is corporate policy. The person in charge of dumping the stuff in the river says, I'm just doing my job. Everybody says, I didn't do anything. I did not kill any fish. I just did my part of the job. But the collective result of the whole corporate machinery is causing harm. So, how do you feel the corporate karma account works when it's not an individual? Do you think it's with the directors? Do you think it's with the shareholders? Do you think it's with the employees or all of the above? Because I think this is a very important thing. If we want to really bring out corporate responsibility from a dharmic sense, we have to introduce terms like corporate ahimsa, corporate karma into the lexicon. And so we should think about how to explain all these. So please give me some thoughts on this.
Wonderful. In the legal world, when a person is accused, the court or the investigation is about whether there was intent. It's expressed as mens rea, that, what was your intent? In the dharmic tradition, particularly Shraman tradition, there is this very important station in the mental movement that as you perceive things, as you understand things, and when the time to respond to it comes, how will you respond, react to the situation? Will it be based on complete understanding? Will it be based on your emotional and biased understanding? And it's called samvar. So that's how exactly it works in the corporate world also. So there are people who are in decision making, and there are people who are not in decision making. There are people who understand how decisions are made, and there are people who don't understand how decisions are made. So I think someone who is like a security person, who doesn't have the intellectual ability to understand what is going on, and he's extremely loyal as a security guard, I think he's not a part of corporate karma. Those people who want a higher bonus because the company is taking additional risk and taking additional risk in the wrong sense, they are not devoid of corporate karma. It comes to them also because they are doing it consciously. And I don't think that there is any difference between an organized body like a corporate and an individual. Because at the end of the day, we are formed by the universe and we dissipate back into the universe. And I've experienced it personally. So I can say it with some authority, at least, when the world may accept it or not accept it. But that, you are a collection of your biases. It is your biases about the understanding of the world that creates new life. And the corporate continuation is also the same thing. And they come to a bitter end or they come to a healthy end by being merging or just going on eternally, depending upon how excellent they are, how truthful they are. So I don't see a difference at all in the way corporates work and individuals work. So I think this is a very simplistic escape to say, oh, it is a corporate world and I don't have to. I have choices. I gave up my accounting practice because it wasn't fulfilling and so on. And we gave up business because we thought it was wrong. And that doesn't mean that you become a pauper or you starve. You have to believe in a universal order that if you follow the universal order, something else will visit you. And it has always happened. Every time I've returned from Vipassana course, I've always found instead of suffering a business loss, something good happens to me. I mean, I'm not promoting Vipassana in that sense because it will be a very material world. But I think the fact that you are still, that your perception is sharper and keener, you pick up something extra in what is around you and which leads to profit. Because you behave in a certain manner, there is always people who are looking at you and they want to do business with you. On that account, corporate karma, say for example, one simple way of keeping my corporate account clean was I requested, I encouraged, inspired my people to just follow one rule. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. It was very simple. That if you thought that you're holding back somebody's money, would you like your money held back? Don't hold it back. And so on. In every aspect of business, that was the principle that all our people followed. And we got handsome rewards.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, suppose somebody is in a corporate position where he's junior and not with the controlling vote. He's much senior and more intellectual than the security guard in the sense he does understand. So he can't deny that I didn't know. But while he knows, he can't really alter the outcome. He's a minority. He's sitting in a room. Now, can he say in good faith that, look, I am distancing myself from the reward, my share of the reward. I could not change the outcome, but I'm going to not accept the reward that will come from this group decision. They are going to do this anyway. I have no choice. I am part of this, but I will. So, in other words, this is a case where you are renouncing the phal of the karma, but not able to avoid the karma. Is that a kind of a second best choice that you could make?
See, universal forces are so strong that no individual can change it, right? I think scriptures are full of stories.
Yes.
Buddha himself said that I could not prevent my own clan to come to complete annihilation, as we know that the Shakya Vansha came to because they were very, fierce and they were pugnacious and they got into trouble all the time. Buddha prevented them, from getting into war a couple of times, but eventually they fought themselves into, complete annihilation. So you cannot alter the forces. But, for example, we have whistleblower policy currently, that those who will, tell on what is going wrong in their organization. Or there are, corporate governance rules where some people will make a disclosure and thereby they get exonerated when the law takes its course. So I think there are various ways that we detach ourselves from the wrong. Not only if we can't prevent the wrong from happening, we can definitely get away from its rewards. And I think in many situations, you can just leave that company and take the risk, because you cannot to walk the path of truth. You have to take some risk. I can't disclose the name of a company or something. Some company came to me at some point of time to seek advice. This company had a terrible reputation, but they had wonderful prospects because of the business that they were doing. And I suggested to them that, look, just come clean. Don't worry about it. You don't have to manipulate anything. It was very hard for them to, accept that. And in the flow of things, they came to a very adverse pass. And so they came to me seeking advice. They said, what do we do? I said, no, this is truth testing you. You just disclose the truth and don't worry about it. From that day onwards, the tide just turned. They thought hell would, visit them. That didn't happen. They just stated what the facts were, and things started to turn. And the company has grown 5 times since then in a short period of time. So we just fear that, what will happen if I speak the truth, because it's your formation. You have a false perception that falsehood is, going to create great results. If that were the case, so many charlatans and, frauds would have succeeded in the world. Nobody has lasted long. It is the good companies and the great companies and the Buffetts and the Mungers of the world who have done phenomenally well by just being straight and simple, always emphasizing governance, transparency, and so on. So I think there are more examples of Dhamma succeeding than failing. So big success can come only when you follow the path of truth.